Qui-Gon Jinn, the man who would become a great Jedi Master and even be the man who would discover the Chosen One Anakin Skywalker on Tatooine, was born on the galactic capital of Coruscant around 80 BBY. Like most Force sensitives who would grow to become Jedi, Qui-Gon was taken to the Jedi Temple as a young boy to learn the ways of the Force and master the skills of the Jedi. He would learn lightsaber combat from Jedi Master Tera Sinub, and when he was 12 years old, would be assigned to then Jedi Master Dooku as his Padawan. He would spend his final night with the other Jedi younglings, laughing and imagining his adventures he would go on as a Jedi Padawan. He would also stay up practicing his lightsaber sparring until he would finally be ordered to bed by Master Yaddle. As Qui-Gon was presenting himself to his new master, Dooku noticed that his Padawan seemed frightened. Qui-Gon confessed that he was, and it was due to being afraid of failing and not becoming a Jedi. Qui-Gon feared that Dooku would reject him due to cowardice, but instead Dooku smiled and said that Qui-Gon was wise and complimented him on his insight, knowledge, and intelligence. After 4 months of being a Padawan, Qui-Gon would accompany Dooku to the planet Shurapak, where a battle was being waged on the planet's surface. It was here that Qui-Gon would meet Dooku's first apprentice, Rael Averross, who kindly offered to help Qui-Gon in any way that he could. Sometime after this battle on Shurapak, Rael would find Qui-Gon on Coruscant doing homework inside of Dooku's quarters, and offer to take him around the Jedi Temple. Finding themselves inside of the Jedi archives, specifically gazing upon a holocron which had earlier caught Qui-Gon's eye, one that seemed more ancient and of a different shape than the others, one that contained ancient Jedi prophecies which Dooku didn't care for Qui-Gon to pay attention to, saying that he himself didn't believe in the prophecies. In 60 ABY, while on the planet Felucia, Qui-Gon would meet and fall in love with a woman there, and the two would engage in a brief relationship, despite the Jedi code forbidding attachment. Jinn's commitment to the Jedi was tested. However, he would eventually break off the relationship and remain loyal to the Jedi Order, though his former companion would give Qui-Gon a rare diamond from Mustafar as a memento of her and their relationship. Jinn would continue to learn from Dooku and grow in his abilities, and in around 58 BBY he would become a Jedi Knight, eventually taking on the young Obi-Wan Kenobi as his Padawan. Qui-Gon strongly believed in the will of the Force, and due to his independent attitude towards the Jedi Order, some would view him as a maverick Jedi who would disobey the Jedi Code if he felt it was the right thing to do. Obi-Wan even once stood in silence as his master told the Jedi Council that he disagreed with them in a particular instance. Obi-Wan didn't always agree with his master's methods and teachings, but Qui-Gon would continue to train the young Padawan as best he could, and Obi-Wan always respected his master. Qui-Gon would continue to stay in contact with Dooku and would even speak highly of Obi-Wan to his old master. Dooku's decision to leave the Jedi Order would of course come as a shock to Qui-Gon, who would grapple with his feelings after this for a time. Between 41 and 39 BBY, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan would be sent to Mandalore to protect Duchess Satine Kryze as civil war was being waged across the planet. The two Jedi would spend a year here, and similar to his master years prior, Obi-Wan would develop romantic feelings for Satine, and she would reciprocate, with Obi-Wan even stating that he would have left the Jedi and stayed with Satine had she asked. However, she never did, and Obi-Wan would leave with his master once the war finally came to an end, while Satine would become the ruler of Mandalore. During his life, Qui-Gon would begin learning the secrets of life after death and would travel to a world strong in the Force that was said to be the origin of the midichlorians. It was from 5 Force priestesses who retained their consciousness after death that Qui-Gon would learn from, and discovered that when a being died, their life passed through the living Force to the cosmic Force to become one with the Force. Since the living and cosmic Force exist in tandem, it is possible to retain one's consciousness and physically manifest themselves after death. Qui-Gon would begin training to learn these secrets and unlock the mysteries of the Force, as he was considered worthy of this knowledge. And as we know, after his death, Qui-Gon would teach Yoda these methods, and his former Padawan and Obi-Wan would eventually be able to commune with and even finally physically see his master. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan would of course have many great adventures and missions together over the years, but for this video I mainly wanted to go over the details of Qui-Gon's early life and teachings. So we will end this video here, and I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about the early life of one of my favorite Jedi in Qui-Gon Jinn, from Padawan to Master. Thanks for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.